With the 13th overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors selected Gradey Dick from Kansas University. At first glance, it's extremely hard not to like this pick made by Raptors management, especially considering the fact that many didn't even expect him to be on the board at 13. Gradey is easily one of the best shooters in this draft class, if not the best, as he shot 40% from beyond the arc as a freshman, which included him nailing 53.5% on pull-up threes last season. He averaged 14.1 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists, nearly 2 steals a game at Kansas, and this is a guy that was highly recruited out of high school, winning the Gatorade Player of the Year award out of any high school player in the United States. He's a 6'8" guard with a 7-foot wingspan and has already been showing that he's got a ton of charisma to his personality, matched with a ton of swagger on the court, as I honestly think, just like Scotty, he's going to become a fan favorite very quickly in Toronto. Shooting is his biggest strength, but I'm going to put that aside for the moment, as he does have some other traits that make him more than just a shooter, as he'll hopefully pan out to be a very solid NBA player for the Toronto Raptors. His off-ball movement is something that stood out to me immediately, as he's got a ton of IQ in knowing exactly where to be and when, and this also allows him to have an excellent ability to cut to the basket off the ball, something that fits perfectly with the new Raptors system under Darko Rajakovic, as ball movement and spacing are exactly what he primarily focuses on. Another thing that I have to add is the fact that he's actually a pretty good passer, even though his statistics don't back that up in college, as I believe it was more often than not affected by how Kansas wanted to play him as a shooter rather than a pass-first guard, and this is the exact role the Raptors are going to use with him in his first season in Toronto, and I expect this role to expand as the years go on. He's a decent athlete. He doesn't have the quickness to blow past guys just yet to create space for himself, but this athleticism mixed with his size and basketball IQ make him very much capable of playing defense at the next level, as I've honestly seen a lot of people comment on this being a glaring weakness of his, as I honestly don't see it, nor do I agree that it's going to be so big of an issue that it would hurt any playing time that he were to receive this season and in the future. The last thing that I think is crucial to mention about Gradey Dick outside of his shooting ability is the fact that in general, I think he's way more of an all-around player than anybody is giving him credit for. In the Big 12 last season, he ranked in the top 10 for 20 different statistical categories, which obviously included advanced stats, and this number increased to 31 different categories where he ranked in the top 20. These categories included points per game, steals, total rebounds, defensive rebounds, field goals, true shooting percentage, player efficiency rating, win shares, box plus minus, offensive rating and defensive rating, turnover percentage, and points produced per game. And to top it all off, he was on the all Big 12 second team. Clearly, he can do more than just shoot the ball to help his team win games, and all of this was done as a freshman, which just adds a little more to how good of a prospect this kid really is, and the Raptors got him with the 13th pick. Now, the thing that separates Gradey from all the other prospects in this year's draft class is his shooting ability that people can't stop talking about. He has a picture-perfect shooting stroke with a really high release point that makes it tough for defenders to get a good contest on him, and like I've mentioned earlier, he knows where to be, when is a good time to get a shot off, and his presence from beyond the arc is going to demand attention the moment he steps foot on an NBA court. Now let me talk about just how good of a fit Dick is with the Raptors, the moment a lot of you have probably been waiting for. Clearly, after last season, the Raptors needed to add guys to this roster that could space the floor to take some pressure off of Raptors stars, as once again, no matter how small of a role Gradey gets out of the gate, he will demand attention from beyond the arc to allow for the paint to open up for guys like Scotty and Pascal. He's going to have a great opportunity to cause chaos off the ball for this team, and I personally don't think he's going to get a starting role right out of the gate, but that very well could be a good thing for him as he develops in the NBA. His defense being one of his quote-unquote weaknesses is a picture-perfect fit for this Raptors roster, having guys like Gary, Trent, OG, Siakam, and Pirtle next to him that are going to allow for that weakness to be diminished if it would even be considered one to begin with. I honestly do think this is a perfect fit for this Toronto Raptors team. It was a selection that definitely was a gust of fresh air, as they got a guy who can shoot right out of the gate, rather than drafting guys and hoping that they can develop their shots later on in their careers. The Raptors needed shooting, and with Dick, shooting is certainly what they got, but like I've alluded to, this guy has a lot more to bring to the table. With that being said, I think he has a pretty high floor of what his potential can be in the NBA, considering that he isn't just a shooter once again. He's got the size, he's a decent athlete, and these two things mixed in with his shooting ability will allow him to be a solid contributor on an NBA roster for many years. The ceiling for Gradey, though, is one that is definitely up in the air on how high it can go. I think with any shooter that that enters the league, there's always the question on if he can hit threes at the next level, but past that initial assumption, he has a very unique skill set and frame that kind of brews the likes of a player we have hardly seen in the NBA. Obviously, I think it's going to be a couple of years of development that Gradey is going to need to work on before he gets anywhere near being a star, but I don't think saying that he has the potential to be one in the nearest future would be totally out of the question. We've seen players develop into stars out of nowhere, and I don't think Gradey Dick is out of the realm of possibilities of being a player that ends up exactly like that. Also, judging by what I've already heard and seen from him from the draft and beyond, he's a guy that is built for attention, so I can definitely see his confidence being the thing that helps him out early in his career, and who knows, maybe with Van Vliet gone, he can be a dark horse for Rookie of the Year. The starting of Gradey's career very much depends on what the Raptors do going forward with the direction of this team, either trading away one or both of Pascal and OG, or keeping both of the stars and once again trying to buy into winning this upcoming season. But nonetheless, with the wide range of outcomes for him, it's going to be cool to see how this all turns out.